Welcome to the USA's original Rust Belt. This is Winter in New England, and a story about two cities. This is some really cool stuff over here. Just looks like industrial machinery. Big pieces of metal and wheels and gears. That is incredible. That's like the front of a real airplane. Just a few days into January, and I'm already enjoying views from 30,000 feet on my first flight of the new year. Seems like I'm spending most of my life these days in and out of airports, but that's a small price to pay for wandering around the world. Some pretty heavy traffic out there. But right now I'm just in Massachusetts. I just came back up here. It's my first time visiting this state in about probably 5 or 6 years. The only other time I've ever been here was to Boston, and that was the winter of like 2018 or 2019. I really love the architecture around this college, and this is one of the most prestigious and well-known women's schools in the USA. They have a nice little downtown shopping district right here where they have some restaurants and cafes, so I think I'm going to grab some hot coffee because this wind is making my hands numb. Can I try the cookie butter latte?
Yeah, absolutely. What size would you like?
Just a medium, 16 ounce, yeah.
Whole milk sound good?
Yeah, it sounds great. Oh, it's looking just a little bit cold out there today, but it's going to be fun. I'm just going to be exploring two cities that are nearby each other that are vastly different. One of them being Holyoke, which is much more urban and industrial, and another one just up the road called Northampton, which is a little bit more rural, but also has lots of vibrant businesses and a downtown with a lot more colleges nearby. This being my first time here, I don't really know anything about this city other than what I've read online, which is that this is where volleyball started. There's a very large Puerto Rican community here, and that it used to be an industrial city back early days in the USA, so there's quite a bit of urban decay as well that's taken place over the years, especially as the industry left. So really what I'm going to be doing today is just kind of getting out of the car as I drive around the city and taking a look at some of the different neighborhoods. And you know, I've already seen some pretty cool street art, and I'm sure I'll see more. A lot of people online said this city is really dangerous, but I've just been in the South, in Memphis, Tennessee, and trust me, this place doesn't feel nearly as bad or as sketchy. So, I mean, well, yeah, there are some older buildings and some neighborhoods that'll look a little bit rougher. It's not quite the same, and it is, you know, it's not bad. It's really cool to see all these old massive brick buildings that were factories here in one of America's earliest industrial cities. especially when it came to the production of paper. In fact, they still call Holyoke the paper city because they produced so much of it around the turn of the century. In fact, 80% of it for America at the time. Of course, nowadays, I don't think any of the paper companies are still in operation. Besides just these long factory buildings, they also have these great canals and waterways that run through the city that helped operate all the machinery that they needed. You know, there is a lot of urban blight, a lot of boarded up buildings. But, you know, hopefully they'll be able to fix that. It looks like they've revitalized some of the neighborhoods already, but they've got a lot of work to do here. A lot of these buildings that look like they've been abandoned for years also have signs that say they've been either bought up by the city or they have private security cameras set up. So, I don't know. It feels like it should feel more dangerous, but it doesn't actually. It still feels like a relatively safe city, especially compared to a lot of other ones I've been to. They have these bridges that cross over the canal, and this one is specifically for pedestrians. I've noticed that in a lot of these cities with more urban blight, they've started doing more murals on the walls here, and they are just really cool to see. While I was in Memphis just a week or two ago, I saw so many, and here in Holyoke, I'm also noticing a lot of street art. And I think that is a really great thing to do, especially when you've got space here to do it, and it does make the area look better than it might have. Oh, look at that tree that's kind of coming down here into the canal. It actually looks real pretty. Seeing a lot more street art over here. And also you'll start to notice that a lot of the names of the streets are Spanish, and that is because I learned that apparently the largest population of Puerto Ricans is right here in Holyoke in the entire USA. So that is really cool. All right, I just made my way over to kind of the downtown area of the city here, and I have to say, just being real, it's been a little bit sketchy. There have been a lot of people out here kind of just wandering the streets, and even a guy singing to himself without a shirt on, which is insane because it's about 20 degrees outside. Honestly, I just feel sorry for people that have mental issues and need help and they're not getting it. But it doesn't make you feel any safer either when you're walking around. There is a lot of countryside around this area as well, so I'm just driving a little bit further out of the city here to check out a place where I might be able to get a pretty good view. I think it's kind of a park nearby. So this is just the park road. It kind of feels like it was abandoned or not quite complete, but it is here, and it does make it easy to walk through the woods up here that I'm about to go through. And there should be a tower coming up that's kind of well known. Well, this is what the woods look like here in winter. Pretty barren, no leaves or anything, but I bet in the fall they're real pretty. I'm a little surprised there are other people on this trail today. I think it's usually pretty empty, but I'm guessing they're here for the same thing I am. You can kind of see it down there, but there are all these stone bridges that look like they're kind of falling apart, and again have just been left here without any maintenance for years. Seeing a lot of little trails through the woods here as I'm going along that shoot off this paved road here. And it is taking a little bit longer than I thought, so this isn't the easiest thing to get to. It's not like hopping out of the car and running over to see something. And there's no other way to really get here other than, you know, walking this 15-minute trail. It's not a massive uphill though, so it's not like it's going to break my back to do, but just know that it will take a little bit of time and energy to walk up and then walk back down. Luckily, I've got a great day for this and probably some amazing views. There's a staircase right here hidden underneath all these leaves. I'm thinking this might even be a shortcut. Let's see if I'm right. Okay, so there's the tower, all covered in graffiti it looks like, and yep, I made it. Oh, just watch these stairs here. Everything is kind of falling apart because it's not maintained. Oh, this is quite narrow and broken. Yeah, you have to be extremely careful climbing up this one because the stairs, a lot of them are broken. And there's a first area here where you can come out and get a view from the first level, and then you go back up to the very top. That right there is a stair that's missing. That's why I'm saying you really got to be careful hiking up this. Oh my gosh. This is a tiny space at the very top. Maybe enough room for like 2 or 3 people to stand up here. Oh. That right there is the city I was just in of Holyoke. So you can see pretty much the whole thing from up here. It's not for everybody, but if you want to view the surrounding area that's free and will give you a little bit of exercise, definitely come and check this out. Boy, it's beautiful. Okay, time to go back down. Wish me luck. Okay, now that I've done that tower, I think I've seen just about everything I wanted to at Holyoke. And I will say that's cool, but again, exercise extreme caution because of the fact it is abandoned, so they're not keeping it up very well, and it is a little dangerous to go up. Now I'm just headed north toward the other city that I wanted to check out, and this one I think is going to be a lot more different. For one thing, it feels much more rural already because there's a lot more forests and woods up here, a lot less houses. Although I will say this about New England, there's a lot of small towns that kind of connect together, especially here in southwest Massachusetts, because you've got Springfield, which is the 3rd largest city in the state, and then you've got all these tiny towns going up from it. So it still kind of feels busy even though it's rural, but I'm enjoying seeing all these like little mountains and things around here. Just got parked, and supposedly the tunnel bar is supposed to be really famous here, but since it's only like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I do not need to be drinking right away, but something to come back to if I'm still here at night. And now I'm just walking up to the downtown, and I hear it's really nice. Lots of restaurants, bars, cafes, coffee shops, which is good for me, and I'm just going to walk around and check that out. I'm noticing a lot of rainbow flags and support for Gaza and the Middle East here. And I do remember reading that this city is one of the most progressive in the USA. Getting out of the cold for a minute, but this cafe is really something else. It's like a train car inside. Love the aesthetic. I have noticed a few empty storefronts, but most of these places are really hopping. There are a lot of like cafes and restaurants, and they just seem like there's so many people inside them. It's very different from Holyoke, which felt very empty. This downtown feels like there's a lot going on. In my humble opinion, the best cities all have amazing street art. And this one is no different. I'm finding a lot of murals back in these alleyways. If you didn't know this already, Massachusetts has one of the most liberal marijuana laws in the country. And just walking by a smoke shop right there, and all I could smell was weed. Not necessarily a bad thing. I'm probably getting like secondhand high. But yeah, they are a bit more liberal on social issues here. There's a very vibrant, thriving local business community here. They've converted this old department store into tiny little booths for all these little shops. Very cool. I can just imagine that this was what it was like before we had all these massive chain stores to buy everything, and everything was mass produced, and it's all the same junk. I feel like I should have bought something, but I still don't have a lot of time. Again, this is just one day up here for me. But I would definitely recommend this for anyone coming here, especially if you're looking for something local. Maybe a gift for a friend or a souvenir. Something else you got a lot more of here is foot traffic. The streets here have so many more people on them, just kind of going out and doing their thing. It is vastly different from Holyoke, which was kind of empty and people just they were going to work. These people are coming out here to do all kinds of different stuff. Shop, meet their friends. Is this the perfect ideal city? Well, no. But it does have a lot of nice things about it that I could come back and enjoy. I would say, you know, most U.S. cities, though, have a lot of problems, and this one has its share, but less so than what I saw in the last city. Okay, so now I'm ready to talk about my thoughts and conclusions and all that stuff. But I'll tell you right now, the biggest difference between these two cities is the culture and how they came about. Holyoke was always designed to be one of these industrial cities. It was built on a grid, and it was built with all these factories that produce paper and other things. When their economy crashed, there was nothing to fall back on, so, you know, everything kind of left, all the jobs, and poverty came in. Northampton here has always been kind of a center of education, and in that regard, it is a college town. In fact, there are 5 colleges nearby. That's a lot of students. And so their economy never relied on the kind of heavy industry that Holyoke needed. And of course, when things stopped working there, they stopped producing stuff, it really caused the whole place to decline. I know the million-dollar question now is, which city do I like better? And the honest answer is, they're both unique and different and interesting in their own ways. I find the kind of old mills that are kind of abandoned and, the brick, I find that really kind of beautiful in its own way. Kind of like I think about castles, I love seeing a good castle, whether it's in ruins or it's totally intact. And to me, the architecture in both cities is really nice, but I would say the architecture is probably more interesting in Holyoke. Here in Northampton, though, I like the fact that there's a lot going on. There's a lot of restaurants to check out. There's a lot of people. It feels more vibrant. And it just feels like there's more to do socially. But I would recommend going to both cities and seeing them for yourself. And I'd love to hear which one you prefer, or maybe what you think about both of them. Again, they're basically right next to each other, just a few miles apart. It's been lots of fun to hang out though here, even if it was just for one day. I got to see some friends, which was the best reason to travel. And hopefully I'll be able to come back. I don't get up to New England that often, but there is a chance that I'll be in Boston in the summer, which would be really fun to compare the two, because the only time I've ever been in Boston was about 5 years ago in the middle of the winter. And again, it was just for a day, and I don't remember anything about it, honestly. That is the biggest squirrel I've ever seen. Anyway, stay safe, healthy, and happy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Thanks for joining me today. Life's a journey meant to be shared. Remember to always travel with an open heart and an open mind. Enjoy the ride and keep your eyes on the horizon for the next adventure. I'll see you out there.